On this episode of Road Dirt, we chat with the authors of the popular children's book series Mimi and Moto. Stay tuned. Hey, this is Rob with Road Dirt, and we are with Mark and Nancy of Little Riders Enterprises and Mimi and Moto, the Motorcycling Monkeys. It's a book series as well as other things we're going to talk about in a little bit. And Mark, Nancy, good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us on the video cast here.
Man, thanks for having us, Rob. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. For a little bit of background, Mark and I got to meet at the recent Moto America road racing finale that was at Barber Motorsports Park in Birmingham. We'd corresponded some, and we decided to try to meet up, put names with faces. I had actually seen your books. You guys have been, you've had them on the market for a couple of years now, if I'm correct, because I think I've seen them at Moto America races and other motorcycle events, rallies, and things like that over the last couple of years. So, you've been with Moto America selling your books and stuff with them for a couple of years now, right?
The relationship with Moto America started back in 2017 when they were in Atlanta, which is where we're based out of. We did one of our first big events was a Moto America race in Atlanta. So really for 2017 and 2018, we were vendors. Primarily at Atlanta and the Birmingham races. And then, we're just around the whole scene for a little bit, got to know some people, and we got invited in 2019 to come and start managing their kid zone. So,
that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. We had the Strider bikes, we had the Stasic bikes, and we did that for all of 2019, which was just a great situation for us as far as getting the brand out there more, and obviously being around a lot of kids. So that was fantastic in 19. Unfortunately, 20 kind of knocked that down because of all the COVID stuff. So it really wasn't the right time to be hanging around in close contact with kids. But I stayed on the operations team throughout. So that was, 19, 20, 21, and 22. So that was the fourth year of officially being on the operations team at all the races. Moto America has been awesome to us. They've been extremely supportive. Both of our books are for sale in the merchandise booth. We've done some co-branded T-shirts, having some conversations with them this year about trying to do some work with Ryan McFarland and All Kids Bikes. So, it's been fun being around it. We've had a chance to watch that whole series grow, and every year seems like there's more people at the races and more people watching and more people online. So, and again, they're really obviously very much into getting families and kids out there, and that's really our wheelhouse and what we like to be involved in.
That's the thing I think is cool about what you guys get to be a part of with Moto America, because a race weekend is really like it's a multifaceted family event, and it just seems like a natural fit that you guys would be a part of it. Something a lot of people don't know is that Mark is the voice of the winner's circle at all the races.
Let me qualify. I am the voice when Michael Hill is not the voice.
That's true. When he's not there, you are the voice of the winner's circle, man. It's awesome. So
that's a lot. It's just so much fun being around that scene. I mean, being in the mix of all that stuff. When Michael's there, he does it. But I do everything I can when he's not there to step in, and he's got some big shoes that I try to do my best to fill. I don't think I do it quite as good as Michael does, but we try to have a lot of fun out there.
You're quite adept in the winner's circle for sure. That you don't have his English accent. You got a good Southern boy accent, but you sound good, man. You do good. Tell me a little bit about y'all's motorcycling background. Obviously, if you're producing a book series on Mimi and Moto, on children's books, introducing kids to motorcycle riding and things like that, that had to start back in your own childhood or something. Tell me a little bit of y'all's motorcycling background.
Oh, wow. Well, I'll start a little bit, and then I'll toss it over to Nancy. So I was the frustrated kid who had friends who rode dirt bikes, and my mom and dad would not let that happen. So I had the posters on the wall, and just I guess I I knew it would happen at some point in my life. So I didn't start riding until I was 34.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was a late comer to it, but again, interestingly enough, that seed stayed in my brain for many, many years.
Yeah.
So then I started riding a lot, and I met Nancy back in 2011, and I started giving her rides, and then I'll let her take that from there.
Yeah, so Mark turned me on to riding, and I think when I came to America in 2011, I really thought I, want to make this change in my life and start riding myself. Usually I'm only on the back, and I got turned on to motorcycling in my childhood when my dad would take me out to flat track races in Germany. And back then it was just really noisy and loud. And I can just remember having like an umbrella, and then they would spray all the, the rocks at us. So
yeah, hold the umbrella up.
It was just great. Yeah. So I do remember that vividly, but I think Mark really turned me on to the riding experience. And then we went dirt bike riding off-road first, and then I got my motorcycle license. And yeah, it was really, passion. Definitely there.
So you both really had a passion for riding from a young age, and in different aspects, the dirt track ovals of Europe, and Mark, the motocross racing that you grew up watching as a kid, I'm sure. And then both of you finally, you fulfilled a couple of dreams, really. You met each other, which is awesome, and fell in love, and then you both are able to share a childhood passion together for motorcycling. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Obviously giving Nancy rides was a lot of fun, but that only lasted for a little while, and then she wanted to go and do it herself, which I was obviously very supportive of, and loved the fact that she wanted to do it. So that was really, I think, what kind of got us into it. And then I guess in terms of all the Mimi and Moto stuff, a lot of this stuff really came about because we had a kid. And
tell me a little bit about the birth of the Mimi and Moto dream. Tell me a little bit about that. How'd you conceive of that? What kind of launched that? Because that's a whole new space you're in now, which is really cool.
Back in 2015, we were using motorcycle magazines to potty train our daughter. To be honest with you, they would just keep her seated. So we were curious to see if we could find a book for her. And we got online and looked in 2015. And I just remember both of us looking, and we just didn't find what we were looking for. We wanted a picture book. We wanted vibrant colors. We wanted something that looked new and modern, and everything that we were seeing online had a lot of text and looked kind of old. So we decided that, we can't find what we want, so let's make one. And it was as simple as that. We decided to make a book and sold our first one back in October of 2016 and started the journey.
That's really kind of with any entrepreneurial spirit, any entrepreneurial idea, it starts with an idea that scratches an itch that nobody else has scratched yet. And, you guys looked for motorcycling books for kids. And aside from one Dr. Seuss book I think I know of that's got a motorcycling dog in it, there's nothing else out there for kids introducing motorcycling as a passion and a hobby and a lifestyle to children. And then you guys scratched an itch, man. That's as entrepreneurial as it gets right there. I love it.
I mean, it's not that we didn't find any books. We just didn't find what we were looking for. When you have a 1-year-old, when you have a toddler, you're not going to read to them necessarily. You want to show them stuff. And really, if you look at The Adventures of Mimi and Moto, our first book, it's very much a picture book. I mean, there are, we always laugh when people say, "Oh, you wrote the book." We're like, yeah, we wrote all 11 sentences in that book. But that was not, again, when you're trying to write a book for your kid and you know how old the kid is, you make it age appropriate. And that's what we did, at least with the first book, for sure.
So the first one was 2017? No, 2015.
2016.
2016. Okay, was when and what's the name of the first book?
The Adventures of Mimi and Moto, the Motorcycle Monkeys.
Okay. I'm looking over Nancy's shoulder right there. I can already see a couple. There we go. I can see a couple of them. The stuffed animals right there. Which one is which? The blue helmet and the green helmet. Which one of those is?
So the blue helmet is Mimi, and Mimi has a flower on her helmet, and then the green helmet, it's Moto, and Moto has a lightning bolt on his helmet.
Now, when you first, wrote the first book and published it, how was it received? How did you market it? How was it received? How did it really take off and birth the second one, and so on and so forth?
Wow, that's going back. Really, the work got started on that in earnest in 2017. We didn't know what we were doing, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
We had never done a children's book before, but as with anything new, you just start trying things and start getting out there. You create some social media pages. Obviously, for us, we knew this and discovered this in 17, and it continues to this day. Is events are great places for us to be, and really, to be honest with you, that first Moto America race in 2017 in Atlanta, we had a great weekend. We had one book. We had a Walmart 10 by 10 pop-up tent. Yeah. But we sold, I think, almost 130 books that weekend. And it really, it proved to us that if we're around motorcycle people, they're going to respond to it. I mean, honestly, that one event there really kind of sealed the deal for us. And we knew that if we continued doing what we're doing and just tried to put ourselves in good positions, we look at the brand the way you look at people. You're going to be like the people that you hang out with, and as a brand, you're going to be like the brands that you hang out with. And we've been very fortunate just to put our brand and put Mimi and Moto in some spots to get some good support. And once we knew that we could move some books, the hardest one to sell is that first one. But once you start selling a few more, you start to figure out different ways. And I get, every day is kind of always an experiment to see, well, what can we try today to get more people aware of Mimi and Moto, to move more books, and to continue building the brand.
Tell me about book number 2. That what's book number 2 called? It came out when? What year?
It came out in 2019.
2019.
So the second book, we actually did a Kickstarter campaign to promote the book. Yeah. So Kickstarter was really instrumental in the financing as well as the driving force to get it done. So we kind of wrote the words down, and it's called, so the second book is called Mimi and Moto Ride the Alphabet. So it's a
Mimi
book
Moto Rides the Alphabet. Okay.
Yes. So the book is for a little bit older children. So it's kind of an advancement from the picture book with 11 sentences, where we have way more text. We have actually, Mark and I, we went through a long time where we wrote everything out, and we wanted as many motorcycle words in our ABC book as we could. So the Kickstarter campaign really helped us to translate it to, into just gather funds as well as crowd support. And it was really a very good experience, in my opinion. So I think it took us.
Go ahead.
It took us a couple of months, I think, to to write the text. So, and then you develop the characters as well as the pages. So
the character development takes place even more. The readers can get to know Mimi and Moto even better in book 2 than in the picture book of book 1. So you're also, you're not only reaching a wider audience with older kids, you're expanding their story a little bit too, which is pretty cool. So deepening their story is probably a better way.
It was certainly an opportunity, just like you said, we didn't want to do the second book for the same age range. We wanted to grow them up a little bit, and certainly having a book helping kids learn the alphabet and that process of learning to read, that was very much a no-brainer for a second book. And I think, to be honest with you, I think when we came up with the title, Mimi and Moto Ride the Alphabet, it was just so obvious that made a lot of sense from the standpoint of the book. And it was a lot of fun too, because all of a sudden, instead of having 11 different spreads to work on with the first book, we had 26 different pages to really sit there and get creative with, how much can we pack into the book? As both the characters ride dirt bikes and sport bikes and choppers and cruisers. So in the alphabet book, we had 26 opportunities to throw them on different motorcycles and different scenarios. That one felt a lot more like we wrote, and there was definitely, there's some letters in there that were unbelievably difficult to try to figure out.
Sure.
Q was hard, X was hard.
Yeah.
Some letters were obviously very easy, but that was certainly a lot of the motivation, just to do something that it was educational, but also for kids just a little bit older than for the first book.
Yeah. Boy, and they're both really selling really well for you, aren't they? You've really hit a nerve when it comes to, the motorcycle community with kids and grandkids and things like that. I know I'm about to be a granddad for the first time, and I'm going to buy both of those books and the third one when it comes out this coming year. And I just think you guys have really hit on a great idea. Just another tool in passing on the love of motorcycling to the next generation, instead of just waiting till they're teenagers and hoping they'll get interested in bikes. This is a great tool in parents' hands and an enjoyable interactive read for young kids. So I think you've hit on something. Tell me some of the products that you guys have got going that you actually sell as well as the two books.
We have T-shirts, we have onesies, Christmas ornaments. We had plushies, but we are just about sold out of those. So we're going to be looking to create those again. For us, we're actually going to be, we have a woman who's going to be making some custom quilts for us. Really from the standpoint of the products and the merchandise, it's really unlimited by imagination and capital, right? It's just a matter of what we just sort of decide to do. And, we're a small growing business, so we're just trying to make very good, smart decisions. For us, the books are the foundation of the brand. That everything starts from there. But then moving on from there, obviously, the more products and more merchandise that we can throw into the mix helps out a lot. And then obviously, certainly one of our big goals is to start the process of trying to animate the characters and sort of bring the, in the year that we opt.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that would be so cool. A Mimi and Moto, cartoon series or something like that. That would be so cool.
We're going to
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What we're actually going to do for the first animation is Michael Hill, who I got to be friends with at Moto America, recorded for us a 45-second little clip of him calling a race with Mimi and Moto. So it's only going to be 45. Well, we'll do about 45 seconds. We're going to probably get working on that in earnest right after the new year. But yeah, we definitely are really eager to let the world sort of see Mimi and Moto come to life on a screen. Certainly a really important key, I think, for the brand and what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that'll be something. But now you've got a third book in the works, am I correct?
Yes.
You're already writing and working on it, not looking to publish that in 2023. Tell me, can you drop some hints about number 3?
Yeah. Oh, well, we already have it on as an ebook and a PDF actually downloadable on our website. So our website is www.mimi.com.
And it's A-N-D. You don't try to use the and symbol. It's mimiandmoto.com. Yeah, we'll put that again here at the end and direct viewers to go check that out. But what's the book called? What's it? Number 3 is going to be called what?
It's the Magical Meteor.
I can't remember what, because it seemed like I had read or somewhere on the site and I couldn't remember it. What it was, something about the meteor.
Right, I got
Moto and the Magical Meteor.
I know. I got it. It's Mimi and Moto's Magical Meteors. So what basically it's could be is a chapter book, and this first installment is called First Gear. The premise is pretty simple. A magical meteor made of motorcycles crashes into Earth, and the next day all the animals wake up and they are magically transformed into motorcycle riders, except there are 2 gorillas in a car, and we call them Mr. and Mrs. Cage, and they are trying to find the meteor to destroy the meteor or do something nefarious to it, while Mimi and Moto and their friends Bella and Bailey are trying to protect it.
You're introducing an antagonist now. The plot thickens.
Yeah, it was I think from the standpoint of trying to think about a third book, again in terms of growing the brand, obviously having I think it's about 13,000 words. It was important for us to throw something out there that obviously kids that are just even a little bit older can either have it read to them or read it themselves. but also too, I think from the standpoint of the brand, to start to introduce a bit of a narrative. I think going back to, even with the alphabet book, each page is sort of its own little story. So there's not necessarily a theme that goes throughout the alphabet book. And we really felt from the standpoint of what we're trying to do with the brand, trying to grow creatively, kind of, get out of our comfort zone a little bit. Neither Nancy or I have ever written a, 1,000-word chapter book, but we felt it was a good time to do it. So we are currently finishing the interior illustrations for that. We're going to send it off to the printer by the end of this year, and we should have some books in hand, first printing probably hopefully by end of March next year.
Perfect for the beginning of the Moto America season, road racing series again.
Yep.
There you go, man. Perfect. So right now, how can folks find you? All your merchandise and the books especially, and for Christmas, if there's any specials, things like that, book combinations and all, they're all on mimiandmoto.com, correct?
Correct. That's where they can find everything.
And then there's a special, obviously, if you order both books, which is Write the Alphabet as well as the Adventures together, you get a price cut. So then also you can find other merchandise you maybe are not aware of. So such as Mark already mentioned, the onesies. And then we also are available on Amazon, but we typically want people to go to our website. Primarily. So
I kind of cheated. I went ahead and looked online, looked over your website and was like, this is so cool, man. Parents with kids and grandparents like me are going to love what you guys have to offer. So I'll definitely be purchasing off of there and encouraging other people to as well. So if you're watching this, go to mimiandmoto.com and check out their wares. The Mimi and Moto story is going to continue to grow and it's going to become more popular. And it's a great book series and a great brand for kids and introducing them to motorcycles. So, all right, one more question and then we're done. This is a personal question. What's in your garage? What are you guys riding right now? What do you got? What two wheels have you got in your garage?
Currently, we are riding a Ducati Hyperstrada 2014.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yes.
So you both just go two up on it?
We go two up on it. I am nudging Nancy along to re-bike. That kind of took a little bit of a break when we had our daughter, but I'm actually now going out and riding with our daughter on my bike. So I go out two up with her and two up with the wife. So I suspect in the same way that when Nancy was riding two up with me, she got tired of that and decided to get her own bike and get her license, that I think if she sees me and the kid going out, I'm hoping that kind of nudges her along to re-bike and come out with us.
All right, one more question. How old's your daughter?
She's 8. She's 8. Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, that brings back memories. I'm a lot older than you guys. I'm an old fart, but my my wife and I had 2 daughters, and I'm not going to tell you their age because it's I'm really old. But when they were kids, down there in elementary school, middle school, even in high school, they rode on the back of the bike with their old man, and I'd ride one of them to school, pick the other one up from school afterwards on it, and things like that. So both of my girls grew up on the back of the motorcycles I had throughout the 90s and into the 2000s and everything. So they have fond memories of riding with their old man, on road trips and even just around town. So
it's interesting that you actually say that, because I just got back this weekend. I did the Charlotte CBA swap meet for a couple of days. And, the one thing that I think both Nancy and I have learned over the course of the last 6 years of doing this is that if you could magically survey every motorcycle rider on the planet or every motorcycle rider here in the United States and ask them, why do you ride? What got you into it? We would offer to you that we think that probably 95% of the time, if not more, people will start the answer like this. Well, when I was a kid.
Yep. Exactly.
They're going to tell you
That's
about
my
a childhood. They're going to tell you about a childhood experience or memory. And if we're reasonably correct about that, I think that tells you everything you need to know about getting more people riding motorcycles. Almost every adult who rides can trace that inspiration back to a childhood experience or memory. And I think what we're trying to do with the Mimi and Moto brand is really just sprinkle some of that dust around there and plant those seeds as early as possible into the minds of kids. Certainly I'm a walking example of that. Nancy had the same experience as a kid, and
me
doesn't
too.
go away.
Grew up with a biker dad. Yep. So, well, Mark, Nancy, great to talk with you too. And thanks for taking some time just to share a little bit of the Little Rider Enterprises, which is, your overall company, and the Mimi and Moto story and their offerings. And we look forward to reading and seeing more from you in the years to come. So thanks again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
This is Rob, Mark, and Nancy with Road Dirt. Ride Life.